You are live. Peace, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Do me a favor, y'all. Share this live out with three people that you know that you feel would can get some value out of what we're about to talk about as far as land investing is concerned. We're going to go into a lot of the questions that we normally get asked as far as dealing with land investing. For anybody that's new that is on this live, we have been investing in land for the past 8 going on 9 years in the teaching capacity for the last 2, right? So here's what you got to understand about land investing, right? We are intentionally redundant when we go on here and do these lives, because here's what you got to know, right? When you're dealing with land, the land is the primary resource to any real estate transaction, right? The primary resource to any real estate transaction. Anything that is added on top of the land is what is to be considered an improvement. It could be a shed, it could be a house, it could be a multitude of different things, but understanding that one cannot exist without the other, right? So why do we invest in land, and why do we choose that asset class over any other thing that we've tried, right? To be completely transparent, we have tried a whole lot of things. I myself, both of us have done a combination of blue collar work, white collar work, all of these different kind of things. But when it comes to dealing with an asset class that is not readily taught out there in the marketplace, that is land. Everybody is familiar with stocks, crypto, forex, all of these other things, but most people are not familiar with how to actually monetize land. So I want to get into one of those questions that people normally ask us is, how do you find under market value properties in order for you to purchase? Whether it be for you to keep it in your family for generations to come, or to go ahead and flip that property to make max profits, or you can do a hybrid of both, right? And one of the things they're going to do in what we call our direct to owner strategy is we're going to show you how to hyper target areas of people where there's the most interest for people that are looking to sell those properties, right? So if we're giving examples, right, let's just say we're looking in Arizona, right? One of those indicators or key points that we're going to use as far as data to go ahead and identify a market that we actually want to invest in. If you've been following us for any amount of time, you're going to understand one of those key points that we use are DOM. Anybody that's not familiar, DOM just stands for days on market. This is a combination of how long properties are staying on the market versus how long it's taking them to be sold. If we're looking at an area that's 300 days on market, if we're looking to flip the property, that's not going to be something that we're going to go after. But if we look at the polar opposite, like a 30 days on market, 40 days on market, different things like that, if we're looking to flip the property, that is going to be a market that we're going to look to invest in, because on average, that's how long it's taking them to sell. So for everybody that's on Facebook, right, we're having our Black Friday sale that is coming up, right? And we're going to drop this sale on Black Friday at 4:35 p.m. Eastern, right? And it's only going to be up for 60 minutes. Got to repeat that, for only 60 minutes. So go ahead and comment the word waitlist inside of the chat. Comment the word waitlist inside the chat. That is going to allow you to put yourself on a list. So when we drop it, you can be a part of the first people that join inside of that actual 60 minutes, because after it's over, it's going to disappear forever. That's what all of y'all have to understand. And on top of that, people have been asking us, what are you going to do for Black Friday? We decided to give you both of our curriculums, not just one, but 2, for half of the price. So definitely go ahead and do that.
So Jay was talking about, how do you find undervalued land? That's one of the questions that we get asked often. How do you find all this land? How do you buy all of this land? And I know sometimes we may take the question lightly because we've been in the space for quite some while, but it's prevalent. And that's just the truth of the matter. It's prevalent. It's a lot of opportunity that's out there. Every entry level investing is tax deed investing. Mm-hmm. How often does someone default on their taxes? Every year. Mm-hmm. There's new lists that come out every year. And this is not even what we think. This is what history has proven. This is what the data has said for year in and year out, right? This is not what stuff that we're going off for emotion on. Mm-hmm. Truly, this is all factual. It's all data driven. If you can do a Google search and not one time when you find that there was not an auction, you may find where an auction slowed up during COVID. but they just rescheduled and found the time that worked for them to have their auction. Why? Because these counties, they need to get properties off of their books.
Sure.
This is how counties function. This is how you have healthy budgets inside of counties. The more property taxes being paid on properties, the better the county is thriving more. There's more things that the community have access to through county paid taxes. This is not our opinion. We are here just to point you in the direction and say, this is how this game is played. So entry level, why do we say entry level? Because you can find properties for pennies on the dollar, $500, $1,500, $2,500. We cannot help any further if you can't come up with that kind of money for a property that's under the umbrella of the asset class real estate. We all know real estate can range from $1,000 to some millions of dollars. So we've identified ways that new people can come in through our entry level program, start doing some tax deed investing and make some money for themselves that way. You're looking to make more money? Then sure. There's no ceiling in this space on how much can be made. Only ceiling is the one that you impose on yourself. Sure. We've had students that made $2,000 on the deal, and we had students that has made $100,000 off of flipping land, right? And this is just not to flip land. That's the beauty of this. Mm-hmm. This is just to show you how to get it at a discounted price. Now, if you get it at a discounted price, if you want to flip it, feel free, flip it, right? We have all that skill set and knowledge base to show you how to do that on a high level, because that's what we've been doing, and that's what we currently still do, is flip land the most, right? If you want to get it, hold on to it for your family compounds, build your dream home, recreational uses, whatever you want to do, why not get it at a discounted price? That is all that we are saying, right? It offers a multitude of things. You can be a property owner, you can be a property flipper, you can be a land flipper. This is still a ground floor opportunity. What do you mean by ground floor, right? I mean, I always talk to myself because I think that's what y'all be asking.
Third person.
What I'm saying, ground floor, is that this is still not a crowded space. Mm-hmm. It's not a whole lot of land investors running around. How many land investors do you personally know yourself? Mm-hmm. You can't name 10. How many realtors do you know? You could probably run off a list of realtors that you know that sell houses in traditional real estate, right? So it's a ground floor opportunity still until this day, and there's a lot of opportunity that's out there. What's another question we get frequently asked?
Yeah, for sure. Another question, or here's a good one, right? When we talk about investing in land and it being in digital, right? Most people have the common misconception of thinking that we need to go out there physically to actually evaluate the properties, right? And we're here to tell you that the systems, the tools, the resources, and everything like that are all in place so you can do everything that we're talking about from a virtual standpoint, right? Virtual standpoint meaning how we do our due diligence, right? There's something that we use inside of our business, what is called a GIS map, right? A GIS map. Now, that's an acronym that stands for Geographic Information System. So basically what this is a mapping service, right? So let's just say we're interested in the property. And if you're not familiar with APNs, I know I'm giving you a lot of acronyms tonight, but APN stands for Assessor's Parcel Number, right? So what you'll do, that Assessor's Parcel Number is the identifying number for any property that is located inside the United States, right? A lot of people ask us, another good one is, the properties don't have an address, how do I find it? You know what I mean? So all of these different things, when you understand and know the business, you'll be able to easily identify any property that you're working with, right? Now, based off of that GIS map, the only thing we need to do is easily input the APN number into the search bar. It's going to take us directly to that state, and the county inside that state is going to give us a view of what that property actually looks like, right? From there, we're able to do what is called our facts, right? Facts, let's roll through that real quick, right? Floodplain, right? We have to identify whether that property is inside of a flood zone or not. The A stands for access, right? What are the access points to the property, right? Is the property landlocked? The other A stands for adjacent. And yes, there's two A's inside of this facts. Adjacent means what is around the subject property that is likely what I can do with the property that I have too, right? Then we're going to go to C. C just stands for comps. How do you ensure that you're getting this property under market value? The only way for you to evaluate that is to look at the comps inside of the area, right? That's the only way you know if you're getting a good deal. T, topography, right? What are the natural attributes or unnatural attributes that make this property attractive to your actual buyer? Because keep in mind, if you're looking to sell the property, you're going to have to go into purchasing the prior with your end buyer in mind. These are different things that you'll pick up that we teach inside of the curriculum, right? And the S, right? The S stands for slope, right? And why is slope important? If you're dealing with a infill lot, which means for anybody that does not understand, an infill lot is a smaller lot inside of an urban, suburban environment. The highest and best use for those particular properties are going to be to put a structure on those particular properties. So if my elevation is coming in at 300 and then it drops down to 220 or 180, that means that there's going to be a huge dip inside of that property. Why is that a problem? It's a problem because if we're going to put a structure on that property, that means in order for us to make that property even, it's going to need an extensive amount of grading. Grading just means we're going to have to pull in a lot of dirt in order to make that property even, in order to get it to start to be buildable, right? Now, are there any times where slope is acceptable? Of course, when you're dealing with properties outside the city limits, bigger pieces of property, recreational, different things like that, they have hills and different things like that. That's ideal for four-wheeling. That's ideal for dirt biking, different things like that. So understanding what you're dealing with. This is why we tell people that are interested in land investing, come and get the knowledge and information first, y'all, because you'll be surprised how many people come to us after they've purchased a piece of property and ask, what can we do with that piece of property? And sometimes we got to give them the bad news. The bad news is you can't do anything with that property in some of these circumstances because you didn't have the knowledge and information and the foresight to actually know what was a good deal from a bad deal. So basically you spend 30, 40, 50, 60, $70,000 on a piece of dirt that you can't even do anything with. So this is why the knowledge and education is important, y'all. And for that reason, when people are asking us about Black Friday, we get DMs, emails, all different kind of things. We understand that our curriculum is a certain amount, but this is going to be the only time that you're going to be allowed to join us inside of our program for 50% off, and that's going to be for Black Friday. So all of my people on Facebook, I know we're on YouTube too, all of my people on Facebook, we're opening up our Black Friday sale at $435 on Black Friday, and we're doing it for 60 minutes. 4:35 p.m. Eastern on Black Friday, and we're doing it for 60 minutes. That is going to give you the opportunity to join our curriculum for half the price, y'all. Half the price. And you're never going to see it offered for the price that is offered out there. This was something that was huge demand that the people asked, and we're just letting you know that this is what we're going to do. But the caveat to this is it's only going to be for 60 minutes. So comment that word waitlist inside the chat. Get yourself on that actual wait list, because if you miss it, this is the only time that you're going to be able to join the Acre Boys curriculum for that amount. So comment that word wait list, get yourself on the chat, and we're going to send you special directions and when the sale is live, and get yourself in the room, and we will be training every week once you're involved in the land space.
If you're on YouTube, we just dropped the link on YouTube. You can hit that link directly and it will take you over there. It is a great time. I have to be totally honest with you. It's a great time. This price won't be around, you know, and I don't want to come off as salesy, but it's my job to sell. We're entrepreneurs. It's my job to and it's a good program. So yeah, I'll stick my chest out. I've been doing this now for some while. So I'll say that loud and proud. It's a good program, right? If you allow yourself to be reachable, if you allow yourself to be teachable, if it worked for me, it can certainly work for you. What you're looking at is two brothers we didn't have Harvard scholarships behind us or anything like that. This information wasn't inherited. This information wasn't passed down. You know, we had to go out and get it. This has all been trial and error. That's what you're looking at. You're looking at imperfect action. You're looking at things that have worked out. You're looking at things that didn't work out, right? So you're looking at the whole gamut of what we have been through in the last 8 years. And I always say, everybody has had a first day. So don't be ashamed to know that you don't know. The best thing you could do is step into that light of knowing that you don't know so you can learn. Come in with a white belt mentality. Don't be the smartest person in the room. Don't get a brain on this. Just follow instructions, right? It works. And we teach what we've been through. We're not teaching from theory. We're teaching what we've been through.
For sure.
Right? And we're super passionate about the information. We're super passionate about if you win. Why is that? Because if you win, we win. You go out and say, Acre Boys got a great program. They taught me something. I learned something. If you win, we win. More importantly, we're not going to dig into, the meat and potatoes and on how things are done, but we'll love to give you access to unlimited funds. You become a good deal finder, we'll find the money for you for any deal that you bring to the table at any denomination. We have funded properties and we funded deals from $10,000 all the way up to a couple of $1 million. So find the deal, the money will find you. The good news is that once you get educated, the sky is the limit. How many deals can you find? What's a good program? What would be considered a good program? We were having this conversation, and it was, if you came in and you made $10,000 with the information in 1 year, just 1 year. You said for the year, I made an extra $10,000 with the Acre Boys. Is that considered a good program? Is 20? What's that number? Drop that below. I'm interested in seeing your feedback. What is that number that will consider this being a successful program if you were into it? I made $5,000 with them for the year. I made $50,000 with them for the year. I made $100,000 with them for the year. I made $500,000. What is that number for you to say it's a good program? I would love to hear that.
For sure. For sure.
She said, so if I find land for $85,000, you can help. We just funded last week. We just funded one of our community members. He did a $65,000 property. If you find it, we'll fund it, right? It has to be a good deal, though. And it has to be an off-market deal. Nothing that, because a lot of people bring us a lot of things. And they bring us things that's on the market. We won't touch it. Why won't we touch deals that's on the market? Because it's probably priced at the top of the market.
For sure.
And there's no room for us to make money. And we can't fund, if it's a personal property or something you want to use personally, we won't fund that as well, because how do we make money off of something that you're using personally?
For sure.
Right? So McDuffie said $10,000. If she made $10,000 for the year with us, she would consider that success. Well, we certainly could position you to do that.
Absolutely.
In one deal.
For sure.
In one deal, we can you can make $10,000 off in one deal.
Yeah, for sure. And you can start at that point. Like you said, that would be successful for you. But what's going to happen is, as you start to move forward throughout this process and you start to close deals, your appetite is probably going to get bigger, where now you're doing more of those deals inside of a calendar month. And especially what we're offering for this Black Friday, the program will be free at that point. And I'm going to tell you why to be free, because the denomination that we're charging you to actually get in, you're actually going to be in profit mode if you did that inside 1 year. But like Ray said, you can do that inside of one deal. We've had people that came inside of our curriculum and done over $100,000 in 1 month, right? But what did they do? Are they any different than anybody? Maybe in the aspect of taking action. If you are action taker, if you are somebody who is looking into, we're in the fourth quarter, right? If you're looking to something to go into the new year and develop a new skill set, this is the best time. There's a lot of people who have New Year's resolutions and different things. When it comes around, this is a weird time that we're in right now. Thanksgiving, you got Christmas, and then you got New Year's. This is a time where people say that they're recalibrating and get things better. Next year is going to be better than last year. But a lot of them, through my experience, especially being in a teacher capacity, a lot of them are lying to themselves. They do the same thing every year, right? They do the same thing and expect different results, right? And that's what we call delusion, right? Delusion, because it's going to be about how it's always been, right? And everybody, if we're intelligent about doing this, everybody knows exactly where they're heading. Here's the question to ask yourself, right? If I kept on doing the same thing I'm doing right now, where does that land me in 5 years? And if any of us are being transparent about any of this, we all know where we're going because we know the activities that we're doing in real time, right? So everybody knows where they're going. The only way for you to get something different, input controls output. That's what it is. And you have to become somebody different if you want something different. The old you will never qualify for new results. It's going to take for you to do something extremely different to get those new results. And that's a real testament from me and him. We literally had to get rid of the old person to become the person, or step in the shoes to the person that we have always meant to be. But what did that involve, right? It involved getting rid of ourselves, putting down the TV, putting down radio, putting down music, doing a lot of people, to be quite honest with you, they're not going to do it. They're concerned about how many points that their favorite basketball player, football player did inside of a game. But here's the only thing about that, right?
You don't want to argue about LeBron?
I don't want to argue about LeBron. But because just like, I'll give you one of our mentors said, right? One of our mentors said, he's like, yeah, I just want to go watch my team. He said, that might be your team, but it's not mutual the other way. So you can give your energy to that if you want to. You know, it's a personal preference. I'm not getting down on anybody, whatever the case may be. But here's what I am saying. I'm saying is, if you reverse that time of doing that very thing into something that actually moved the needle, everything would change, because input controls output. That's all.
Yeah. We talk like this on a regular basis, right? And these days we don't do a lot of lives together because everybody's moving around, but we speak constantly all through the day. But yeah, that is really what it takes. People look at us and say, "Oh, Acre Boys, oh, they doing land, yada 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 yada." No. That's not really the thing that moves for us. That's not how we got to this point. Clearly, land was the vehicle, but as Jay stated, we got to this point because we had to become more. We had to become different people. I grew up playing and watching sports. I don't watch them no more. I don't have time to watch them no more. There's bigger things that I have to focus on and give my attention to, right? What you think about the most or what you do the most is what you become. You watch TV, then guaranteed that input, he said it 3 times, the input is going to control the output. That input, is it really moving the needle? And these are the conversations that we want to curate and just start checking people. Like, are you really, really ready to do what it takes to be successful? Because this asset that we're talking about, this is an old asset class. This has been around forever.
Ancient.
Like, this is not new. The concept of buying and selling land. This is not new practices that we're talking about. So does it work? Remove us out of the equation and ask yourself, does it work? Well, it's only been working for years and years and years. You only standing on it. You only walking on it. Your house only sits on it. The buildings only sit. Walls been fought on it. It comes from biblical terms. So this is not new, this concept. Can the person, can you become the person that you need to become to make it work for you? That's all that we're saying. When people say stuff like, "Oh, I don't have the money," well, if you don't got the money this time, you probably won't have the money the same time next year, unless you make some changes. Right? These are just real conversations. And we've learned that money has a language. We're around different people. As you elevate, everything elevates. We're around a different class of money and a different class of people. They don't move like workers do. That's just the facts. They don't talk like workers do. They don't think like workers do. They throw ideas in the air and they move on the ideas, right? That's exactly. And people think that people that's doing things on a high level, they got it all figured out. I'm here to tell you that we're around these people, and we're some of these people ourselves now. They don't have it figured out. There's never a full plan. It's just an idea that they move on. There's never a full roadmap on how to fully execute the plan. because the plan never works the way that you lay it out anyway.
For sure.
It always derails, and you always have to pivot.
Always.
Prime example, we're going to release these shirts. We're going to sell these shirts. In my head, I know I have an idea of how I want to do it. It probably won't work that way, though. That's just how it goes. So all the people that be afraid to come out of their pocket and do land investing, it's like it won't work for you anyway. You coming into it with a scarcity mindset. If you believe it'll work, it'll work. You should be taking the posture of, I'm going to make it work and I won't stop until. When is until? I don't know. But until it works. Mm-hmm. That's the type of time that we on. That's how we think. That's how we move. Until it works. And then when we get to until, we'll set a new bar.
For sure. For sure. You know what it is like? You know what it is, y'all? It's like, if you've heard of the term imperfect action, that's really all it is. You know why most people never get started doing things? It's because they wait for everything to supposedly line up, the perfect situation. But I got news, y'all. There's never the perfect time.
The stars got to line up with the moon.
Listen, the perfect time doesn't exist. You have to get started, right? The movement is what's going to draw the actual opportunities. Think about it, right? If any one of us come outside of our house and we look as far as we can see, right? Your vantage point is only going to give you a certain level of vision. But as you move forward, you can see the next block, and so on and so on and so on. This is why in this life, it rewards people that move forward, even when they don't know what's going to happen next, right? It's all, everybody's been in all different kind of religious structures before. We're talking about faith. Faith is knowing that it's already completed, even if you don't know the way that needs to come about in order for you to actually complete it, because you're not going to know anyway. Two different modes that you need to be in, right? Set your intentions, number one. And the last one is to be in receptive mode, because the middle of that, you're not going to know how you're going to get there anyway. But as you start to open yourself up to all different opportunities, you start to meet people and different things like that. Things just start lining up, supposedly magically, but they're really lining up because really what you did is you've given the universe a sacrifice that said that I'm going to keep on moving no matter what happens. That's what it is. But if you stay in a corner and not taking any risks, there'll be no reward inside of that thing. And I'm not telling anybody to go ahead and quit their job or anything like that, because your job is going to be your first investor.
Don't quit your job.
But however, as you start what you're doing on the side of that, you start meeting people, you start getting into bigger rooms, you start having conversations with people who have done things on a different level. And this is why mentorship is so important, y'all. Your mentor has the power to believe in you before you can fully believe in yourself. And you want to know why? Because they know what it takes to actually get there. And what you can do is mimic that person in real time and alleviate the bumps, the bruises, all of those different things that person has went through in order to get there. So you condense your time frame to being successful.
All right, y'all. Comment the word weightless if you're on Facebook.
For sure.
We'll talk about this stuff all day.
Mm-hmm.
That's like one of our major topics of, why certain people are successful and why certain people are not successful.
Yeah.
And as I stated, if you follow us or been following us for any amount of time, we like to have these conversations. We like to talk about the topic of finances and things like that, because you can't hit a target that's not set.
Mm-hmm.
What you think about, what you put yourself around, these are the things that you'll become. I want to talk about finances.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what I want to talk about. We deal with it on a daily basis. I want to have some type of interaction with it on a daily basis. More importantly, how are we earning it, right? How are we earning finances? I want to hyper focus on that. We use the vehicle of land investing and farming, everything around that. That's what type of time that we on. So if you're on Facebook, comment the word weightless to get on the list for our Black Friday, which is going to drop at 4:35 on Friday.
That's right.
It will only be open for 60 minutes. Right. It's a play on the size of an acre, 435 60 square feet. 43560. So at 4:35, we'll open it up. It'll only be open for 60 minutes. So far, we got a bunch of people on the wait list, and the DMs are people contacting us to get on the wait list. Get yourself on the wait list. Come do some business with us. This is who we are. We are the instructions that we're very qualified and knowledgeable of the space. And we can give you a roadmap on how you can be successful at it. All right. Today it feels like a Friday, but
It
it's
feels
not
like a Friday, but it's what's it?
Maybe because everybody's off.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
for sure.
So whatever you're doing, enjoy your holiday, enjoy your Thanksgiving, and we'll be live even on Thanksgiving.
For sure.
You know, we're working every day this week, so you'll hear from us even on Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much, and peace, love.
Peace, y'all. Until next time.